Welcome back to Super Stubborn Animal, the only place where survival isn't a matter of luck, but a matter of attitude. Where we don't just admire nature's strength, we celebrate its defiance. And today's feature, it isn't the fastest, it isn't the biggest, it isn't even the most elegant, but it may very well be the most fearless creature ever born on Earth. This is the story of the honey badger, the mammal that doesn't run, doesn't quit, and doesn't care if you're a lion, a leopard, or a god of thunder. In the heart of the African savanna, a sun-scorched arena where every day is a struggle for life, this little creature has carved out a legend, not with size, not with speed, but with sheer stubbornness. And when it comes face to face with one of the most elegant and efficient predators in Africa, the leopard, you'd expect it to end in tragedy. But that's not how the honey badger works. Let's go deep into the dirt, into the grass, into the madness, and discover how this tiny tank of muscle and rage rewrote the rules of survival. The African savanna is a paradox, beautiful and brutal. Golden grasses sway beneath vast skies. Acacia trees cast delicate shadows. Herds of wildebeest move like rivers of muscle. But beneath that postcard beauty is danger at every turn. Temperatures soar above 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Waterholes dry up. Prey hides underground. And predators, sleek, silent, and savage, stalk every sound. It's an ecosystem governed by a single rule: adapt or die. And while lions rule by force and cheetahs by speed, the honey badger rules by will. It doesn't just survive here, it thrives by doing the unthinkable again and again. If you saw a honey badger for the first time, you might laugh. Short legs, flat body, a skunk-like white stripe running from head to tail. It waddles more than it walks. It looks like it should be rooting through trash bins, not battling cobras. But beneath that humble appearance is a creature forged by evolutionary warfare. The honey badger, Mellivora capensis, is not here to play. Its skin is ridiculously thick, up to 6 millimeters in some areas, enough to stop porcupine quills and most predator bites. But more importantly, the skin is loose. This means if you grab a honey badger by the neck, it can literally twist around inside its skin and bite your face off. Try to pin it down, it becomes a writhing knot of claws and rage. Its teeth? Razor sharp. Its claws? Curved and dense like steel hooks. Its jaw strength? Enough to snap bones and crush through tortoise shells. And its pain tolerance? Practically non-existent. Stung by bees? It keeps going. Bitten by snakes? It shrugs it off. Bitten in the face by a lion? It still fights back. That alone would make it a formidable animal. But what truly sets the honey badger apart is its mindset. This is not just a creature with weapons, it's a creature with zero fear. The African bush isn't forgiving. There are days when there's no water, nights when the wind howls like ghosts, weeks when prey is scarce and every living thing is hiding, and yet the honey badger hunts. Every single day. How? With a combination of brutal efficiency and creative madness. Its most powerful weapon isn't its claws or its bite, it's its nose. Honey badgers have an olfactory system so advanced, some scientists believe it outperforms that of wolves and bears. They can smell prey underground, snakes curled beneath roots, rodents inside termite mounds, even dung beetle pupae buried beneath 6 inches of dry, compact earth. They use short, explosive snorts like mini sonar bursts to probe tunnels and hollow logs. It's a form of olfactory echolocation, if such a thing exists. Once it knows something is hiding, it digs, fast, violent, unstoppable. The claws of the honey badger aren't just for show. These curved tools can tear apart termite hills, crack logs open like coconuts, and dismantle burrows in seconds. Where others give up, the honey badger doubles down. It doesn't matter how deep the prey is. It doesn't matter how strong the wood is. It will not stop. Because if there's one rule in the honey badger's brain, it's this: if it's in there, I'm getting it. Most predators specialize. Lions hunt antelope, cheetahs chase gazelles, leopards go for monkeys or small deer. But the honey badger, it eats everything: snakes, frogs, scorpions, beetles, rodents, birds, lizards, eggs, fruit, carrion, and, of course, honey. But not just any honey. Honey guarded by African killer bees. Bees that can sting you to death. And yet, the honey badger climbs into hives, snarling, yelping, swiping, and eats it all. Larvae, honeycomb, royal jelly, even the queen. It doesn't care that it's getting stung. It doesn't care that its face is swollen. It keeps going. Why? Because stubbornness is a weapon, and for the honey badger, it's the deadliest one of all. So now we've met the honey badger, a compact beast of fury, cunning, and impossible tenacity. But what happens when this wild machine of willpower crosses paths with one of the most graceful, silent, and deadly hunters in all of Africa? The leopard. Beautiful, patient, calculated, a shadow among shadows, muscle wrapped in elegance. Where the honey badger is brute chaos, the leopard is poetry in motion. And yet, these two animals sometimes meet. And when they do, the result is not what you'd expect. Leopards are the ultimate solo hunters. They don't share territory. They don't chase for fun. They ambush. With perfect silence, they stalk from the trees, creeping low through the grass, calculating every footstep. Their body is built for efficiency. Muscular shoulders for leaping, retractable claws for precision, a jaw designed to deliver a perfect, suffocating bite to the throat. They can drag prey twice their weight up into trees. They kill monkeys, warthogs, even young buffalo. Their eyes are sharp. Their instincts are sharper, and yet they hesitate when the honey badger shows up. You'd think it was a joke. A leopard standing over a dead impala, muscles taut, breath heavy. Then suddenly 2 squat little honey badgers waddle into frame like they own the place. No stealth, no caution. They just walk up, and the leopard watches. One of the most fascinating encounters ever filmed showed exactly this. A leopard had made a fresh kill, an impala. It had dragged the carcass under a tree, preparing to feed. But just as it began, 2 honey badgers appeared from the bushes. Now, any sane animal would take a detour. They're a fraction of the leopard's size. One swipe could kill them. But these weren't sane animals. They were honey badgers. They marched in, sniffed the impala, and started eating. The leopard snarled, it lunged. The badgers turned, hissed, stood their ground. What followed was not a fight. It was a standoff of will. The leopard made a few aggressive moves, swipes, lunges, growls. Each time the badger snapped back, teeth flashing, claws swinging. They didn't run. They didn't even blink, and eventually, the leopard gave up. It walked away, not because it was afraid, but because it just wasn't worth it. Honey badgers don't back down, and that makes them dangerous. Think about it. When you're a predator, your life depends on staying uninjured. A small scratch can lead to infection. A bite on the paw can mean you can't hunt. A limp can turn a king into a corpse. And honey badgers, they don't fight to intimidate. They fight to destroy, even when cornered, even when wounded, even when dying. They'll bite, claw, thrash, and scream until either you're gone or they are. To a leopard, there are safer meals, easier hunts, more predictable targets. Why waste energy and risk damage just for some stolen meat? That's the magic of the honey badger. Its best defense is the cost of attacking it. It's not that predators can't kill honey badgers. They can. Lions have done it. Hyenas too. Even leopards have had success. But it always comes with a price. A bite to the snout, a deep scratch across the face, a shredded lip. And in the wild, that kind of injury can mean starvation. So the smarter predators choose avoidance. They leave the honey badger alone. Because in the grand game of nature, it's not about who can win the fight. It's about who can walk away still able to fight tomorrow. That's the lesson predators have learned. And that's why the honey badger walks through the savanna like it's bulletproof. But sometimes, the honey badger isn't just defending itself. Sometimes, it attacks. There are rare cases of honey badgers ambushing leopards. Yes, ambushing, usually over food, sometimes over territory. Reports from game rangers tell of badgers charging out of burrows toward prowling leopards, barking and shrieking like demons. Not hunting, just saying, not here, not now, not ever. And most of the time, the leopard turns and walks away. What does this tell us? That the honey badger doesn't care who you are. It doesn't calculate odds like other animals. It doesn't weigh risk versus reward. It only understands two things: attack or defend, win or die trying. And it always chooses the hard road. Because in the mind of a honey badger, there is no other road. That's what makes it legendary. Not strength, not speed, but a commitment to fight no matter what. It's madness, it's genius, it's survival distilled to its rawest form. The honey badger doesn't just fight like a demon. It makes allies, strange, unspoken ones, in the unlikeliest of places. Across the Kenyan bush, something almost magical happens. Up in the sky, a pale, chanting goshawk circles gliding on the thermal winds. Below, a honey badger waddles through the brush, nose to the ground, tail twitching with intensity. The bird watches. The badger snorts. They move together. Some say it's coincidence. Others call it symbiosis. But it's one of the most bizarre and effective duos in the wild. As the honey badger digs through termite mounds or stirs up leaf piles in search of rodents, lizards, and insects, things flee. And the goshawk swoops in, snatching up the escaping prey. Is the badger helping the bird, or is the bird just stealing opportunities? We don't know. But what we do know is this: The goshawk follows the honey badger with purpose, and the honey badger doesn't seem to mind. Together they create chaos, one above, one below. Two hunters sharing a silent rhythm in the African sun. But while birds in the sky may glide away from danger, the honey badger does the opposite. It runs toward it, especially when that danger comes in the form of one of the most feared animals in the bush, the cobra. Most predators avoid venomous snakes, not just because they're hard to catch, but because they're deadly. A single bite from a puff adder, boomslang, or black mamba can drop a lion within minutes. But the honey badger, it seeks them out. You can watch it happen. A honey badger spots movement in the grass. Its nose twitches, it freezes. Then, a strike. A cobra lunges, jaws wide, fangs flashing. The honey badger gets bitten, right on the face. It winces, stumbles back, shakes off the pain, and charges again. Claws flashing, teeth bared. It grabs the snake mid-coil and thrashes it to death. Then, with the venom still coursing through its blood, it eats. Here's where things get weird. After a few bites, the honey badger collapses. Its breathing slows. Its body stiffens. It looks dead, but 2 hours later, it twitches, it stirs, it gets up and finishes eating. What kind of creature gets poisoned, nearly dies, then gets back up for seconds? The answer lies in its biology. Scientists have studied the honey badger's cells and found something remarkable. The receptors in its nervous system, the very places venom targets, have evolved unique mutations. The venom binds, but doesn't destroy. The honey badger's body resists the paralysis. It recovers faster. It's not immune, but it's close. Some even believe it has one of the most advanced immune systems in the mammal kingdom. It survives snake bites, bee stings, scorpion venom, flesh wounds. It heals where others rot. This isn't just toughness, it's biochemical genius. But there's another side to the honey badger, one you wouldn't expect from an animal so associated with violence and rage. Beneath the earth, hidden from predators and heat, lies a burrow. And in that burrow, silence. Then a sound, a small chirp, a soft rustle. A cub is born, blind, hairless, helpless. It doesn't know the world yet. It only knows the warmth of its mother. She doesn't roar, she doesn't fight. She stays quiet, still, patient. For 3 months, the cub never leaves the den. It listens, smells, learns. Its mother brings food, stays awake, keeps watch. And then, one day, the cub follows her out, into the world. A world of thorns, bees, snakes, and leopards. But it doesn't hesitate because right beside it is the creature no one dares touch. Its teacher, its protector, its mother. Together they forage. She shows it how to dig, how to sniff, how to attack. She teaches not by words, but by action. And slowly, the cub becomes like her, not by size, not by power, but by mindset. The honey badger cub isn't just raised, it's forged. You can't help but admire it, not because it's cute, but because it carries something we all recognize deep down. A refusal to back down, a fire that never dims, a soul carved by defiance. And perhaps that's why we're drawn to this little animal. It reminds us of ourselves, or at least of who we wish we could be. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but the last one standing. Some animals win with strength, others with speed, but the honey badger, It wins with something far rarer. It wins with will. It's not beautiful. It's not sleek. It's not what you'd call majestic. But it doesn't need to be. Because out here, in the burning dust of the savanna, where every sound could be your last, appearances don't matter. Only resolve does. Only grit. You see it in the eyes of predators who decide not to strike. Not because they couldn't win, but because they didn't want the trouble. Because the honey badger never goes down quietly. It never surrenders. It doesn't even seem to comprehend fear. And that, right there, is what makes it so extraordinary. Let's be honest. The leopard is the perfect predator on paper. It's everything nature loves. Fast, agile, stealthy, lethal. It's the assassin of the animal kingdom, all silence and elegance. The honey badger is none of those things. It's a mess. It growls, it digs, it stinks. It walks like it's wearing concrete boots. But somehow, in its own chaotic, relentless way, it survives, it thrives, and in certain moments, it even drives the leopard away. And isn't that a metaphor for life? Sometimes being polished isn't enough. Sometimes being refined and calculating doesn't guarantee victory. Sometimes it's the messy, stubborn ones who push through. The ones who get knocked down and get back up. Who don't flinch when life bites. Who charge into the hive knowing they'll get stung, but do it anyway. The honey badger isn't just a wild animal. It's a lesson, a living parable. In a world obsessed with power and appearances, it reminds us that heart, pure, reckless, ridiculous heart, still matters, still wins. Now, here's my take, my personal truth, as someone who's watched hundreds of hours of wildlife footage and narrated dozens of predator stories. The honey badger doesn't belong in the same category as lions, leopards, or hyenas, because it's not trying to compete. It's not the king. It's not the assassin. It's not the scavenger. It's the outcast, the rogue, the one who didn't follow the rules and somehow rewrote them. I think that's why we love it so much, because deep down we all know how it feels to be underestimated, to be smaller, slower, rougher around the edges, and yet to still show up, to still fight, to still win in our own way. So the next time someone calls you difficult, or stubborn, or too intense, smile, because maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what's keeping you alive. That's what makes you unstoppable, just like the honey badger. If this story spoke to you, if you found yourself grinning at the thought of that scrappy, furious creature standing its ground in front of a leopard, then you, my friend, are one of us, a proud member of the stubborn animal tribe. So leave us a comment. Tell us, what's the most honey badger thing you've ever done in your life? When did you dig in your claws and refuse to quit? Like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be pretty. You just have to be relentless. This is Super Stubborn Animal, where fear is optional and stubbornness is survival. We'll see you in the next wild story.